Hello and a warm welcome to a brand new episode of South Central. You know it by now. This is India's first and only business news bulletin to focus completely on South India as we track news and key developments across markets, businesses, boardrooms, politics, and the movers and shakers across the 5 southern states. My name is Jude Sanat, and these are the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Chennai's residential segment sees a 31% spike in year-on-year residential sales for the January-March period, says data from Anarock. Hyderabad, meanwhile, records a whopping 46% quarter-on-quarter jump in new real estate supply. As Puravankara unveils its ambitious 30-project launch pipeline for the next 24 months, its management tells ET Now the company will target strong pre-sales growth as demand continues for premium and luxury housing. At its Hosur plant, auto component major Tenneco India begins planning its next phase of expansion as it nears capacity optimization. Management says the new facility could be built in South India or near OEM hubs in the western region. The first signs of a rift emerge within the NDA in Tamil Nadu. Reports say the former Tamil Nadu BJP chief K. Annamalai has expressed quote-unquote extreme displeasure to the party high command over the AIADMK's seat allotment strategy. And MLAs in Karnataka demand IPL tickets and lounge seating to attend matches in Bengaluru. Legislative Assembly Speaker UT Kadir requests the government to ensure 4 tickets are allotted per MLA. Right, let's begin our bulletin with some news from the real estate space. Chennai's residential segment has registered a whopping 31% year-on-year rise in housing sales for the January to March quarter. According to real estate consultant Anarock, the city saw over 5,300 homes sold in the first 3 months of the year compared to just over 4,000 the same time last year. That 31% increase makes it the city with the largest spike in sales this quarter, with Hyderabad coming in a second place with a 23% spike of its own. Now, Hyderabad in particular sold 12,425 homes in the January-March period when compared to 10,100 units the same time last year. Speaking of Hyderabad, the city has also seen a fresh infusion of supply with 19,280 new units hitting the market since 2026 began, in comparison to just over 13,200 units that were launched in the October-December quarter. Meanwhile, there were no big surprises in that the Mumbai metropolitan region and Bengaluru accounted for 48% of total sales pan-India in the quarter. And while housing sales saw a 9% year-on-year rise pan-India, there's been a 7% dip on a quarter-to-quarter basis. Staying with more news from the South Indian real estate space, Puravankara Limited has told ET Now that the company expects continuing demand in the premium and luxury segments. In a conversation with my colleague Mansi Dave, Managing Director Ashish Puravankara said that the company was targeting a particularly strong growth in pre-sales numbers. This was, of course, along the sidelines of Puravankara announcing a 30-project launch pipeline over the next 24 months across South India and Mumbai at a GDV of 55,000 crore rupees. Here's a slice of the conversation that Mansi had with Ashish Puravankara.
Puravankara Limited has completed nearly 5 decades into India's real estate sector, and today it stands as one of the most trusted real estate giants in Indian real estate sector, with a strong pipeline and focus on governance and sustainability. On this occasion, joining with me is the Managing Director of Puravankara Limited, Ashish Puravankara. Ashish, thank you so much for giving your time to ET Now.
Thank you.
To start with, and let's talk about the biggest announcement which has been done on this occasion. You have unveiled a portfolio of 30 projects across South India and Mumbai with a GDV of around 55,000 crore, let's say in the next 2 years. But what's the plan all about? How much of it is in progress? What is the funding which they are planning? Give us all the details. And congratulations on 5 decades.
Thank you. I think it's important to again go back to where we are today and where we came from. So today, in terms of lineage, we're completing 50 years this year. You don't have too many examples of companies that leave alone survive but thrive for a period of more than 25, 30 years, and we're completing 50 years. Today, as an organization, we've built an organization that is world-class, that has professionals, the right systems in place. Then if you have to put the numbers in context, right? So if you go back on an average in the industry, typically launches annually would would range anywhere between, let's say, 5,000 to 7,000 crores in terms of new launches. Today, in line with our 50-year celebration, what we are essentially saying is that we have a portfolio of almost 55,000 crores of projects.
Right.
A breakup of that, almost about 19,000 crores would be coming, new business will be coming from projects that are already launched, but unsold inventory or phases that have not been opened. In terms of new, fresh launches, that would be close to about 33,000 crores of that 55,000. Most of these projects are already secured. Either we are in the designing stage or we are in the approval stage. These launches would happen over the next 12 to 24 months. In terms of capital outlay, not too much on the land acquisition front, because like I mentioned, these are projects that are already secured by the company.
Yeah.
So then it's essentially it's your approval costs, your designing and launch expenses, which is not quite significant there. So not a huge requirement for a capital expenditure per se for these launches that we've announced. And as the residential business works, most of the second big number is your construction costs, which is typically funded by pre-sales and by customers.
So how much worth of construction value, and let's say when you talk about the 33,000 crore number, how much in terms of the million square feet is what you're talking about?
Million square foot, that would equate to about 51 million square foot of launches across the West and the South. In terms of number of projects, there's a significant portion that's being launched in the South. So about 24 projects would be launched in the South, and about 6 projects would be launched in the West.
All right. Ashish, correct me if I'm wrong. Out of the 55,000 crore, you are saying that 33,000, round about 33,000 crore is in progress, right? Is what you're...
Are at various stages of design and approval.
All right. You aim to be among the top 5 developers in the country. Now, what is the roadmap you're planning for that? We already see your plans going ahead, but still.
As a vision, I think the aim is to be the best, not necessarily to be the largest. But by virtue of being the best, obviously you get more market share.
Right.
So in terms of volume, yes, I think once these projects are launched, we already are in the top 5. We see us inching higher on that stack.
Well, it isn't just Puravankara that's bullish on South Indian real estate. The Brigade stock ended the day just over 3% higher, even registering an intraday high of 752.95 rupees to a share. The market has reacted positively to the company's recent launches in the residential space, as well as its foray into industrial parks earlier this month. My colleague Karan joins us with a quick roundup of what's happening in Brigade's launch pipeline.
Well, Brigade Enterprise is in focus as the stock is up in today's trade. This is on the back of a new residential project launched in Bengaluru with a total revenue potential of more than 700 crores. Moreover, this is a net zero carbon development which is spread across more than 4 acres in Bengaluru. Apart from this, there were several other new projects launched this month, including another residential project with a total revenue potential of more than 1,100 crores. Moreover, on the 10th of March, the company forayed into industrial real estate with Brigade Industrial Park. This is a 25-acre development in North Bengaluru to cater to aerospace, defense, IT and the data center sector. An important point to be noted here is that the stock was down close to around 25% in the past 1 year, largely on the back of certain delays in the approvals. In the past 9 months, the company has clocked in a gross development value of 4,800 crores. From a guidance standpoint, the company has guided on 5,400 crore worth of GDV in Q4 alone. And this will take the total pre-sales area to more than 8.6 million square feet. Out of the 5,400 crore GDV guidance, the company has reported to the exchanges about several projects so far that add up to around 4,900 crore worth of GDV. Now, these are the projects which the company has already informed the exchanges about, and there are some others wherein the GDV has not been specified yet. And finally, from an FY27 guidance standpoint, the management continues to remain cautious but aims to resume a 15% growth trajectory. On that note, do watch out for Brigade Enterprises.
Shifting focus to manufacturing next, automotive component maker Tenneco Clean Air has said it is nearing capacity optimization and is now on the lookout for a new plant. In an exclusive chat with ET Now, the company's Hosur plant, Tenneco India CEO Arvind Chandra told me that the new plant could in fact take form and shape either in South India or closer to automobile OEM hubs in the West. The Tenneco India boss also said that its integrated plant and R&D base in Hosur is seeing a present-day capacity of 7 million shock absorbers. Here's a slice of that conversation. Arvind Chandra, good to have you with us here on ET Now, and it's good to be at your plant right here in Hosur with an attached R&D center as well. Hosur, of course, is a big part of Tenneco's presence as far as India is concerned. You know, before we begin, it's only been a few months since you listed in November, that bumper listing, which saw you subscribe 62X.
Yep.
How has the journey in India's public markets been ever since? A fairy tale of sorts, one would say, especially given the circumstances and the roller coaster that the market has been through ever since.
Yeah, we're obviously delighted. I mean, this IPO has been a blockbuster for us. 62X is a record for a mid-cap company. And but beyond that, I think the fact that our stock price is kept up in the face of high uncertainty and speculation in the markets tells us that our investors really believe that we have a very good, compelling equity story here.
And even as we have this conversation in the months following the listing itself, what you are seeing in India is a manufacturing footprint that, in a sense, has ticked all the boxes with regard to where you want to be in the market. We're doing this interview, of course, at Hosur. You have plants all over, including one in Chennai. Yep. Your South India presence is quite impressive on that front. Where are we at the moment? Give us some context to the plant in question. What's the capacity here? What's the capacity utilization number here? And how crucial is this plant right here in Hosur for Tenneco?
So this is our pillar plant, you could say, Hosur. We also have an attached R&D center with it. We have an annual capacity of 7 million shock absorbers coming out of this facility. And like I said, because this is a pillar plant, all of our newest technologies are being tested here. Our capacity utilization is very high. Again, we have a very modular, standardized way of manufacturing, which allows us to run a lot of our parts at very, very high capacity utilization. Having said that, our business is growing very fast. And so we are going to need more capacity, more plants as we go further in the next 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely. And even as we speak, I think those capacity utilization numbers across your plants are just north of 80%, if I'm not mistaken. So, like you said, you will be requiring space in the near future itself. What are plans on that front? Have you begun scouting? Are you near to shortlisting a plant in question that you'd want to move into?
So we haven't said that out publicly, but obviously, we're growing at, and we said that in our Q3 as well, that we are growing at a nice double-digit CAGR. Our 2028 revenues is already order booked at 100+%. So obviously, we're going to need additional capacity, additional plants. Our new DCX Da Vinci technology is getting a lot of traction. And we believe that it is going to be a very big disruptor in the Indian market, especially when it comes to ride quality.
Right. So no specific location earmarked as yet for that new plant? But what are you looking at that plant for? To what end will that new plant serve?
It has to, obviously, we also have sintered parts, we have rods, we have, we also have to do the assemblies, we have, Dynachrome. So there's a lot of multiple processes that it has to cater to. But also, as we're evolving on technology, we also have to make sure that some of the new aspects of technology are also catered to. We are also making sure that this plant is centrally located, so it it meets all the needs of our light vehicle, passenger vehicle OEMs. So it has to cover Mahindra, Tata, Maruti, Toyota, and so on. So it will be centrally located. We are still debating where it should be, between the west and the south.
Right, so between the west and the south, both, of course, equal contenders in that plan. You mentioned order book itself, and
Yes.
I think the big statistic there is that your FY28 order book is fully covered, at least as of date. What are the key growth levers for you, really, in terms of making this a recurring feature, in terms of having these orders covered? Even as we speak, almost the entire gamut of the supply chain is yours, 52% market share itself. And that's just talking passenger vehicles itself. What is the order book looking like going forward, even as you have so many of these bases covered at this time and place?
So I think you mentioned our market share. So even when we were doing the IPO, we were about 48%, but we've taken it now to 52%, which means 1 in 2 cars or SUVs in India has a Tenneco shock absorber, which is a very great place to be, right? I would also add that a lot of our growth is coming from content per vehicle. So as we are moving up the technology curve, a lot of growth is happening through CPV, content per vehicle growth. Secondly, exports. Our exports order book is coming at 20%. Our current exports are only 5%. So exports order book is coming at 20%. And lastly, white space. So we're doing a lot of, let's call it cross-pollination. We have one product at a certain customer. We don't have another product. So we are using the white space as an additional angle of growth for our product. So suspension, shock absorbers is also benefiting from that.
Right, interesting, things to look forward to as you go forward. You mentioned exports and it being a very significant 20% of order books. Where do you see this number going from here? And I speak about exports specifically because we find ourselves at an interesting time geopolitically, with a lot of export numbers and businesses really exposed to shocks that were perhaps unheard of not very long ago. The last half a decade itself has seen its own share of geopolitical shocks. Can that number grow from here? And if yes, where are you looking at really?
So there are two kinds of exports, right? One is Tenneco India exporting to third-party OEMs. But more importantly, I would say Tenneco India exporting back to Tenneco Europe and Tenneco US, right? There's a lot of potential for labor cost arbitrage where we can become a partner to our Tenneco sister divisions to make them more competitive by supplying them child parts, bill of material, sub-assemblies, and in some cases full assemblies. So we look at our presence in the group as a big supporter of enabling a competitive advantage for our sister division. And that alone is giving us a very high order book. So I think if you look at the total addressable market for exports, it's infinite simply because the Tenneco to Tenneco sales can grow very fast. You're right, and I think a couple of things have happened, right? One is technology equalization. India used to be very, very much backward and behind technology, but now we've caught up. The latest technology that's used, for example, semi-active suspension or the Da Vinci technology can also be exported. Secondly is the China de-risking. I think many Indian OEMs, let's call it the non-Chinese Western OEMs, also want to have India as the export hub. That's a good story for India, and Tenneco sits on top of the India Inc. story. And of course, the labor cost arbitrage. I mean, the advantage of that India with its population has that labor cost advantage makes it very compelling. So even for our sister divisions, we are able to provide child parts and sub-assemblies that makes them more competitive versus their competitors. So we look at it as a partnership. We don't really compete with our sister divisions in Europe and the US. We help them. And in doing so, our revenue also grows.
Absolutely. Well, Tenneco India, they're saying that the country's China plus one leverage still strong as ever, even as it looks to capitalize on that need for higher exports and a new plant. But on that note, we'll slip into a short break, but South Central continues on the other side of these messages. Keep watching now. Welcome back. You're watching South Central with me, Jude Sanath. Moving on to news from cricket next. Call it a case of renewed fanfare for IPL matches in Bengaluru, but Karnataka's MLAs seem to think they deserve IPL tickets set aside for them at RCB's upcoming home season. In fact, it was Leader of the Opposition R. Ashoka from the BJP who first targeted the Karnataka State Cricket Association, complaining that MLAs get all of just one ticket to watch IPL matches at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. Not long after, other MLAs, including Vijayanand Kashyapanavar from the Hungud constituency belonging to the Congress, said MLAs need at least 4 tickets and lounge seating to watch IPL matches this year. So earlier today, Karnataka Speaker UT Khadar made a case for these MLAs, requesting the government to ensure that each MLA gets at least 4 tickets to watch matches with their family at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. So let's hear some of these demands from some of these elected representatives themselves.
MLAಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಯಾವ ಗ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ಹೋಗೋ ಕಡೆ ಕುತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿ. ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್, ಯಾವ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಕಡ್ಡಾಯವಾಗಿ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, MLAಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕುಂದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಿಸಿ ಸರ್. ಏನ್ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಕಾಶ ಬೇಡವಾ? ಇಷ್ಟು ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ ನೀವು.
Well, in fact, we're just getting some news that that Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar has said that 4 tickets, in fact, cannot be given. Every MLA, MP and minister used to get 1 seat each, and we've requested them to give 2 tickets if the family members go. So for tomorrow's first match, we're told that each of these MLAs will stand to get 2 tickets per head. Well, VVIP culture there, manifesting in IPL tickets, if not 4, at least 2. But shifting focus to politics in Tamil Nadu next, former state BJP chief K. Annamalai, it seems, is quote-unquote extremely disappointed with the AIADMK-led ND Alliance's seat-sharing formula. A report published in a prominent national daily has said, quoting sources, that Annamalai is believed to have informed the BJP High Command of his disappointment in the seats that have been allotted by the AIADMK to the BJP. The BJP has been allotted 27 seats to contest from in Tamil Nadu, 7 more than what the party got in 2021. Annamalai's angst, however, is reported to surround the allotment of just 1 Coimbatore seat to the BJP, Coimbatore North, that is, despite the Saffron Party having a significant presence here. Even among Chennai's 16 constituencies, all of one, that's Mylapore, has been given to the BJP, and Annamalai is believed to have said the party deserved more from here as well. BJP supporters have also been miffed at the party not being given the Kinathukkadava seat in the greater Coimbatore area, given their projected prospects from this region. All right, so with the 234-seat Tamil Nadu Assembly elections up for grabs, both major alliances have now almost locked in their seat-sharing equations. Almost. Let's take a look at who's getting what. Firstly, the AIADMK alliance starts with the alliance leader, the AIADMK itself, setting aside for itself 178 seats, with the BJP coming in second place there with 27 seats. Remember, like I said, 7 more than what it got in 2021. Smaller parties like the PMK have about 18 seats, while the Amma Munetra Karagam, or the Amma Makkal Munetra Karagam, rather, the AMMK, taking 11 seats for itself. The DMK alliance has the DMK itself contesting in 166 seats, while that contentious negotiation with its alliance partner, the Congress, saw the Congress, of course, get 28 seats. The CPI has about 6 seats, the VCK 6 seats, the DMDK 10 seats, while the CPIM is yet to finalize its seat-sharing discussions with the DMK. Well, it is time now for the IFFD, or the International Film Festival Delhi, which is not only about big screens, but also about shaping cinema for the next generation. To talk more about this, Siddhant Chaturvedi joins Times Network's Ashish Parekh. Take a look.
All right, joining us right now at the International Film Festival is Siddhant Chaturvedi. Siddhant, brilliant organization here. First ever global film festival in Delhi. Long time coming. What's your expectations from here?
Well, I'm quite excited. It's the first time, and to be a part of anything which is first is always special.
You belong to a generation जो काफी new age filmmaking explore कर रहा है. Do you think it will benefit a lot of filmmakers? क्योंकि यहाँ पर master classes भी है for a lot of young creators and actors as well. How much do you think it will benefit the whole ecosystem?
बिल्कुल, मुझे लगता है कि जो भी बच्चे सपना देखते हैं फिल्मों में आने का, उनके लिए सबसे पहला ये कदम होता है कि कैमरा उठाया, कोई छोटा कंटेंट बनाया, वो वायरल हो गया, और एक टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट से मुझे लगता है कि बहुत ज़रूरी है इससे पहले कि बड़े पर्दे पे चीज़ें हों, एक शुरुआत होना बहुत ज़रूरी है और शुरुआत के लिए मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहता हूँ दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट को कि उन्होंने ये इनिशिएटिव लिया है। मुझे लगता है कि हमारे इस इनिशिएटिव के बाद बहुत सारे नए कलाकार उभरेंगे अभी कुछ सालों में।
And before I let you go, your roots are not very far from here. I mean, of course, you grew up in Mumbai. लेकिन how does it feel, the fact that filmmaking अब traditional markets जैसे कि Mumbai, it's moving away and a lot of creators here are getting opportunities very close to their home?
यार अच्छा है, घर के पास है तो बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि सिर्फ घर ही क्यों, पूरी दुनिया में छाना है और जो भी जहाँ से भी आता है बड़े सपने लेके आता है तो वो हर जगह छाए, देश के हर शहर में, देश के हर स्टेट में, इंटरनेशनली हर जगह मुझे लगता है। तो काम ऐसा हो कि बहुत दूर दूर तक जाना पड़े, मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है, शुरुआत भले पास से हो।